6:33 on September 26th. We are meeting in the middle school library, but we are also being live streamed. Our first agenda item is community comments, but before I read the preamble, is there anyone on Zoom? No community comments in the audience, I don't believe. So I think we can move on.
Right there.
Do we close the Zoom? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is our superintendent update, right?
Yeah.
Beth, would you like to take it away?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My comments are very brief, given that I did a longer presentation at our joint meeting last week. And really, my objective tonight is to say thank you to the custodians and IT for central office for onboarding all of our new staff, for administrative assistants working all summer and receiving packages and getting us organized, and especially to Dr. Reineman and Mr. Carnes for a smooth opening of the school year at Chickering. All is well and off to a fantastic start, and I appreciate all that you and your team have done to make sure that teaching and learning can get off the ground right away and that the kids have a positive experience. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys. Denny, would you like to do the assistant superintendent update?
Curriculum?
Do you have anything else?
No, that was it.
Boy.
I can go over the strategic plan again if you'd like.
So I wanted to give everybody an update on our elementary math curriculum pilot. So the last time I spoke with you all, I believe it was in June, we were talking about last year's pilot. So last year's pilot was a very limited pilot. We were piloting illustrative mathematics as well as Eureka Squared mathematics. And we had one teacher doing one unit of each of those programs per grade. So it was really just a small taste of each curriculum. We used our rubric that we developed from the DESE rubric on how we were going to evaluate our curriculum. Our math coach and I did some interviews with other math directors around the area to get their feedback on the two programs. Based on that feedback, we decided that Eureka Squared Math wasn't going to be a good option for us going forward. That was based on teacher feedback. That was based on other math directors who said that in order for you to make this program what you want it to be, you're going to have to put in a lot of work. Part of the reason why we're trying to switch curriculum is so that teachers can have a lot of the supports built in to the curriculum. We did have some positive experiences with illustrative math, but we felt like we didn't have a full idea of what that program was. A lot of the times with these new math curriculum, it's kind of a paradigm shift for our teachers and for our students. So when you don't start the year with the program and understand the thinking routines, the activities that repeat themselves, it's really hard to make a judgment about a program. I think that everybody was in agreement that we didn't want to rush into an adoption of a curriculum if we didn't really have all the full information with us. So based on that, we decided to do another year of a pilot this year. So we're keeping illustrative math, and after looking through some other math curriculum, weighing options, reading reviews on ed reports, we landed on using Reveal Math as our second pilot option this year. Reveal is interesting. It's from the same company as Everyday Math, so it has some of the language and things that are familiar to teachers, but has a ton of differentiation. It has a ton of support for our L students, for our high need students, a lot of enrichment opportunities. So we felt like that was going to be a good choice. So this year we're doing, between Pine Hill and Chickering, we're doing, each grade has one person doing illustrative and one person doing Reveal Math. So for kindergarten, for example, at Pine Hill, they're doing Reveal Math, and at Chickering, they're doing illustrative math. So they're going to do it for the entire year. So we're going to get some really good data and some information. We're going to get good student feedback. We're going to continue to use the rubric that we developed last year. We're going to do site visits to other schools that use these programs, so that teachers can ask other teachers questions. How was your adoption process like? What were some of the strengths? What were some of the hiccups as you adopted it? We want to get more than just the pilot teachers involved, because if this is going to affect the whole school, we need to get input from all teachers, special ed teachers who are going to be working with this program as well. So that's the plan for this year. And again, don't want to rush into anything, but we do anticipate that we'll be able to present the school committees, hopefully, with a suggestion to vote on an implementation of new curriculum sometime in the spring.
And just to clarify, both Reveal and Illustrative Math, as well as Eureka Squared from last year, are all approved by the Department of Education in Massachusetts and have evidence and research behind them through the Ed Reports vetting process.
Yep. Yeah, if you go to our brand new and improved Dover Sherborne website,
Love it.
to the teaching and learning page, there's a whole page dedicated to the math pilot. So if there are families and caregivers that are interested in learning about the programs in depth, we provided them with that information on the website.
And the explanation of why a second year
Yes.
is important.
Yes.
As well as reassurance that all of the math standards for any grade level are going to be covered, whether, the classroom's still using everyday math as we have for years, or if they're piloting, every child will get the standards they need for their grade.
Just might be in a different order. So if you have like 2 kids in the same grade, you just might, same concepts, just a different order.
So I forget all the names, but it's 1 and 2 were piloted first year. 1 was out, 2 was okay, but 2 wasn't totally, you weren't totally sure. So this year it's 2 and 3. So a second year of 2 and a third, and a new one for an introduction to 3.
Yes.
Like Tracy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great. But then sorry, but
Don't worry.
let's say 3 is now then the the feedback is higher than 2. Will you do a third year for pilot 3, or will you have enough information based on this year's collection of information to make a decision on 2 and 3 by the end of this year?
I believe that we will have enough information since it's a year-long pilot. Again, last year was just 1 unit.
Got it. That makes
This year
sense.
they're
Yeah.
going with the curriculum for the entire year. But, I think it's really important in these decisions to make teachers feel like they have a lot of input in it. So if we still are in the springtime and don't feel very, very strongly, then again, we're not going to rush the process.
And for piloting, is in each grade level, one classroom is piloting, or is it across? Okay.
Yep. So 1 classroom in each building, and they're either doing illustrative or reveal.
Okay.
And will parents know, like at back to school night, that their kids are in that program?
Yes. So teachers should have sent out letters to parents and caregivers explaining what the pilots entail. It links to the document that was in the school committee packets about the programs. So it has all of the frequently answered questions about the math programs. So yeah, they've definitely been made aware. They're informed about what's going on in terms of the curriculum.
I love that you guys are talking to other schools. I feel like that's such a win because you get to hear like the truth and not just what's being marketed to yourselves or to you. But I remember you telling us where Illustrative and Eureka were being used locally. Is Reveal used locally?
Yes.
So it's easy to find.
Yep. I have a list of districts. I can follow up with the list
Yeah.
of the districts
No.
that are using Reveal.
But that's great. You can still go find that
Yep.
here. Awesome.
Danny, you touched on something that I think is really important to note. The same standards will be covered by the end of the year, just in a different order. We do have a number of sets of twins, and so this is something that we're being very thoughtful about how we communicate this, because in one student's report card, it might be they've covered the first 4 by the end of the term.
Right.
Another class, it might be they've covered 1, 3, 5, and 7. So it's going to look different, but at the end of the year, all of those standards will be covered.
Yep.
And so communication is going to be very powerful with this.
I think in general, this was definitely a topic that came up a lot last year as part of the election. I'm sure you guys remember, but I fielded a lot of questions and a lot of concerns about the pilot. So just how marketing isn't the right word, but how we communicate it and how we talk about it, particularly given this like secondary pilot, will have to be aligned with what the terminology and rationale is for sure. I think.
No. So we'll present multiple updates throughout the year on it, kind of in that spirit. And again, that's one of the reasons why when we were building the website, we wanted the webpage devoted specifically towards this so that community members can have the most up-to-date information coming straight from the district and not from other sources.
One more question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned last year that the feedback was based on teachers, but this year will be data, so you'll have feedback will you have math, not scores, but any sort of like imputation on how the kids did in math?
Yeah, we'll
In
have
addition to feedback.
our unit assessments. Those are going to be different based upon the program that you're using, but we still use tools like IXL to kind of diagnostics and kind of dipsticks of where students are at. So that will be comparable across whichever curriculum you're using. So
That's great.
all the IXL problems and the practice problems are the same, and then we'll be able to kind of use that information as well as a data point.
Will you collect student feedback on like what it felt like what math felt like that year?
Yes, actually last year as part of the pilot that was really important to us. So we gave 2 student math attitude surveys at the beginning of the pilot and at the end of the pilot. So we'll probably do a little bit more this year, and I think it's also really notable, excuse me, that Dr. Reineman, Mr. Carnes, Dr. Brown, Ms. Gollingsrud are going in and out of these classes, seeing this stuff in action. Myself and Superintendent McCoy are observing. We have our math coach. So we're getting a lot of eyes on this year, which I think will be beneficial to making a decision.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Okay. The next thing on our agenda is the warrant report, and also I'm going to kind of like lump these together. The fiscal year 23 budget closeout. Dawn is excitingly on a trip for the first time. I don't know for how long, but definitely since I've been a part of the school committee. So I'm super excited for her that she's getting to travel. But she has provided us in our packet all of the details about the warrant report and where the budget stands at closeout for last year. Hopefully everyone was able to read it in advance, but I'm wondering if any of us have any questions. Anything you want to add to that?
Nope, she's very straightforward in her communication, so hopefully you have all the information you need.
Yeah, it looked like we were in a good place.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Ready to launch the budget process for FY25 too.
Yes.
Just in time.
Okay. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I jumped out of order. Okay, next, we're going to rewind and go back to you, Dr. Eineman, for the principal's report. Most important.
It was actually well intentioned because then you can couple it with the school improvement
Yes,
plan.
it all
was-
goes
yes.
in line.
Right in front.
Most important last.
Excellent. Good evening. It's so nice to see you all. The principal's report is chock full of launching the year. It's been an amazing first month. I think it's September 47th. It's a very long month, but always exciting. We started off with our Great Cereal Box Challenge and a couple of great assemblies getting us started. I hope you heard about the masked dancers. It's a lot of fun. And then Jim and I have been into every classroom reading Maybe. If you haven't read, we'll send you an appointment. You can come over and see it. Reading about the endless potential, and the artwork is amazing. So it's been a ton of fun to get into every room and talk with every child as we read. It's a big hint. Open house. Thank you, Jesse. So you can hear about the math pilot and everything else that's Chickering on Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock. And then time in each classroom in the same format that we've done in the past, half an hour and half an hour. We've invited a number of community groups to be present in the lobby, park and rec, and the whole thing. Curriculum and teaching. We are launching it into our MTSS beginning of the year data assessments. One of the things that our literacy team puts together is a reading campout. So teachers sign up to get some help with doing the initial assessments, and the kiddos come down to the lobby, and we set out all these yoga mats, and they make a fake fireplace, and there's a cooler and a "Don't feed the bear" sign, and the kids hang out with the bear and read. While meantime they're called out to go and do a reading assessment, and they come back and they're just out at a camp out. It's just such a nice low stress event. One of the things that we added was our academic spotlight this year. So we're going to ask each grade level to give us a little clip into what's going on in their grades, so you can try to get a taste of what it's like. So this month we had kindergarten talk about what it's like in their world. School Advisory Council coming up more later. We have some new members, as noted in the report: Lisa Slotnick, Colin Knight, and Melissa Carlabosa. And then for teachers, Renee Grady and Anna Ring are joining Allison Parker, returning teacher, and Bob Cox. And Jesse Hull is returning not as a parent rep, but as our liaison. So thank you. Looking forward to having you back. Talked about safety and security. We've done our first fire drill. Sent out the slides again from the Synergy presentation last May. Very well received. And our very long list of new staff, which we're thrilled to bring on new teachers and specialists and educational assistants. And then Chickering Citizens, which has been Jim's pet project. So I'm going to give you a chance to share about that a little bit.
Thank you. So last year we had a group of teachers, FLES teachers, specialists, classroom teachers, who are all tied to 5th grade. And we wanted to do something to really make 5th grade unique and make it special, and also provide an opportunity for leadership for our students. And so put our heads together and came up with Chickering Citizens. And there's all kinds of ways that students can be involved. It might be with helping with kindergartners at the end of the day, which is a favorite, I have to say. Helping with different specials throughout the course of the day. We aligned our 5th grade recess with kindergarten specials very intentionally, so that our 5th graders can go in and help in the classes. And the things they come out and say about, like, they don't listen. Like, all right, yes. But it's empowering these students to get involved. And so they go through this process where they apply online using a Google form. They get to choose, I think, up to 6 different possibilities. I think there's about 10 or 12 possibilities. And they get matched up. And it's for half the year. And then we have a second session. I think we have about 85 5th graders. 79 applied for it in this first one. All 79 were placed. And so the hope is that we're going to be 85 for 85 in the spring, that the excitement around it will be contagious, and we'll bring those last 6 students in. But the program has really evolved. It was all on paper before, and now it's through Google Docs, and it's kind of high tech, and the kids go online and they apply. It's a really exciting thing. We had the reveal last week, what the kids had, and today was the first day, and it was so funny to see them walking out at the end of the day with the kindergartners, and walking down with the buses with the kids, and they were just really enthusiastic about it. But the things they come up and they're like shaking their heads like, today was a tough day with the kindergartner. So, or they'll share something that somebody said that was really funny. But by a couple days into it, you see the 5th graders walking out with a kindergartner on each hand, and the kindergartners love it, the 5th graders love it. It's just it's a beautiful thing. There's also opportunities to help with like book collection in the morning for the library. There's an end of recess job to sweep the playground, to pick up the equipment. So there's opportunities to get involved, helping students directly, and then other ways to get involved too. So we're just trying to meet all the 5th graders somewhere. So there's something that they feel comfortable they can get involved with. So it's evolved a lot from last year to this year, and it just, we're on our way this year. It's exciting.
Next year you can add resume building.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
Well, I have to say thank you so much for the citizenship program. It's amazing. My 5th grader, that's what she was talking about since the beginning of the year, and she was so excited. She got into junior librarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. This is really important.
It's really nice to have that opportunity to have leadership as a student, but I personally remember my 4th grade buddy, and when you're little, to have somebody in your community that you look up to and feel known by is really special too. So it works both ways, which is nice. So thanks it's a lot of work.
I've seen it at the kindergarten level volunteering last year, and it's a sight worth seeing. It's adorable. It's so special for both ends to just see them come in and line up, and the kindergartners are just elated. It's really cool.
Yeah. You'll probably hear about the library volunteers if she's at the beginning of the day collection with the books. We have the squeakiest cart that you can imagine. So you hear it coming from like hallways away.
I've seen some
we know they're doing their
40.
job. So.
Thank you guys for a great start to the year. Next on the agenda is the second read of the Chickering School Improvement Plan. We first looked at this and discussed it at our June meeting. I believe there have been some minor changes to better align us with the district. But Deb, I was wondering if you would mind providing us with some like highlights and explain any of the bigger changes that were made.
Sure. The biggest change is we had 2 exceptionally grand goals and realized that 3 was a better way to slice and dice it. So the first one hasn't changed much. It's our MTSS. It hasn't changed much since our read in the spring. We have, through the work of an incredible group of people, built a strong MTSS system, but it's not ready to be done yet. It needs another year of refining, making sure we're using the right assessments for the information that we need to determine student growth. The other piece that we're looking at is data team protocols. So in terms of talking about students, are we following a protocol or are we kind of wandering our way through the meadow a little bit? So we'd like to get that process lined up with a firmer protocol so we make sure we cover every student with the amount of time that they need. We often run those at common planning times, which are 40 minutes. And Jim does this magic little MacGyvering with the schedule so we get an hour, which we can do it in an hour, but we need to be efficient. So that's the big piece with the MTSS. The other piece is looking at that what I need block, the WIN block, 4 times a week across the whole school, not at the same time. And, not at the same time for every grade, at the same time for the whole 4th grade, same time for the whole 5th grade, and looking at some of the extensions that we can offer. We've done a great job of looking at what interventions we need. What other extensions can we offer? How can we leverage, for example, Dave Gaffney, our new technology integrator, into some of those WIN groups? Can we look at bringing in junior great books as an option? So we're looking at enhancing those for more extensions that all students can participate in. The second goal is the curriculum goal. So it's the maintaining academic excellence and rigor while maintaining a mindset for continuous improvement, research, and exploration of the curriculum, which you can see is evidenced in our math pilot, thank you, and our SEL pilot, and then looking to bring in many more engineering opportunities across the school. We've dabbled in it here and there. We had this great, crazy engineering day with PTO, which was a fantastic taste for everyone to say, oh, we can do this. So building on sort of that sampling day, if you will. And then the third one, which we broke out as well, is the goal around equity. So continue to foster school community free from bias and discrimination and ensure a sense of belonging and equitable outcome for all Dover students through inclusive communication, culture, and climate. Chickering Citizens sits in here. Sense of belonging, the ways that we connect with all of our students around the school. And looking at our new website and any of the communications that come to or from the school, from us and PTO. So PTO's done a big job working with us this year at previewing and setting up a structure in their communications as well as part of an extension of us. Mm-hmm. So there it is.
Thank you. Any clarifying questions? Yeah, this would be familiar from June. So may I get a motion to approve the Chickering School Improvement Plan? Okay, is there a second? Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? No. So the motion carries unanimously. All right. Moving on to our next item, we have the proposed gift basketball court. Beth, I'm hoping you can give us an update and kind of explain the proposal from It's Hoops for Hyde.
Sure. So Chase Hyde is a graduate of Dover Sherburne High School, and unfortunately he passed in his college years. And every year, his family and friends come together for a memorial basketball tournament, and I know Deb has been a strong supporter of that. And what they have done is worked with other agencies to create a fund to provide basketball courts to children and families in various neighborhoods so that people can gather together and develop friendships and camaraderie around basketball, which was very important to Chase. And they are now hoping to move forward with the proposed basketball court that will be right up against the Chickering schools, overseen with the help of the Park and Rec Department. So the Park and Rec Department has given the green light that they would be in favor of this. They have met with, over the years, obviously Dr. Reineman, Dr. Keogh back in his tenure, and this is just an update to say that the pieces are falling into place, and there'll be another planning meeting with the Park and Rec Department in October that I assume that Deb will go to, Dawn, myself, and hopefully your facilities subcommittee or representative member will attend as well. Did you want to add anything?
Excellent. We're very excited. The group has been working with us for a while, trying to figure out what makes sense. It's as you drive into Chickering and you go around our big horseshoe, if you come to the section where the old Chickering School was, which 21 years ago, if you were here, and it's been a soccer field that actually the Dover Youth Soccer has looked at several times to change into like a turf field or a better field. It's all construction material. So to a field that you have to do a lot of work. So it made a lot of sense to bring in a basketball court there. It won't be fenced. It'll be an open court that we can use during the day with the kids if they want to go out and play at recess, which would be a great option, especially some of the older kids. Be open to the public. I don't know if they're decided on lights or not, but it would be a great place for kids to gather on the weekends to have some fun and make friendships, as Beth said. So we're excited.
So you're saying it's kind of where are those old basketball?
There is a half
Up there?
Is that a quarter court or half court right there? That
No,
little
it's a-
pavement.
Half
It's
court,
a
right?
full court, right off the
the
horseshoe.
existing one
On the playground?
where we did the Halloween parade so many years
Oh,
ago.
that's a full court. It's a smaller court, but there's two
Yeah.
basketball hoops.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. So it will be next to that
It'll be like a
Uh,
T.
Between
Oh, I got
Court
it.
and then
Okay.
the court.
in the
and the
hill.
preschool playground.
Yeah.
We talked about moving it closer to the existing playground so that our students can go up there and they can still be supervised. To keep it close.
But off the road.
Mm-hmm.
An errant ball won't go into
I was
traffic.
just thinking of that.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about hedges. No, we got hedges in mind. A lot of plants and benches.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Just really thankful that our community can benefit from this and that we can honor Chase in his hometown. And it sounds like a lovely way to build community both within the school and the broader community. So thank you. Our next agenda item is the consent agenda. It should be included in your packet, was the minutes from June 13th, 2023. Does anyone have any changes they would like to make to the minutes? They looked good to me. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Thank you. Do we have a second? Any further discussion? No. Okay, all in favor? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, guys. Finally, we have some member information included in your packets, which includes our meeting calendar, subcommittee assignments, the June 6th Sherborne and Dover Sherborne Regional School Committee minutes. So if you want to you have all that information in your packet if you need to look back at it. But I think that's it for tonight. I know, it's fast. It's because we missed Dawn.
She's usually efficient.
She's very efficient,
Yes.
but that's always a chunk.
Yep.
Okay, so I believe we are ready to adjourn. May we adjourn by unanimous consent? We can do that, right?
Yeah, all in favor.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you.